Hey guys, welcome back into Fast Track New Agent Training with Tim. This is Module 2, and in this module we're going to talk a little bit more about you, your personality, your behavior, your desire to be an agent, and what you might be willing to do to make your career work. Now, in the last module, Module 1, we talked about the failure rate among agents and why it is so high. Just as a reminder, the National Association of Realtors tells us that the failure rate among new agents is 85 to 90% within the first 12 to 18 months. Incredibly high failure rate, and there are a couple of reasons for it. And if you'll go back and watch video 1, you're going to hear my thoughts on what makes our failure rate so high. But in this module, we're going to talk a little bit more about you. We're going to talk primarily about two things: your personality and your behavior. Because you may think they're the same thing, but they're not. They are kind of connected, but your personality is basically your inherent personality. What's inside those personality traits that you were probably born with, some you may have developed over time, that's your personality. That's the internal. Your behavior is the external. And when we talk about behavior, we talk about how you behave around others, how you behave in certain situations, how you handle things, how you react, how you respond. So personality is internal, behavior is external. So before we go any further, I want you to make sure that you have gone to this link and taken the free DISC assessment test, because we are going to use your results in this module. So if you haven't taken the test, I want you to take a few minutes. It's only 12 questions. It doesn't take you very long. Go to this URL right now, this website address, click on the Take Free Exam or Free Test button and do the free test. Save the results to your computer. I'd like for you to print them out so you've got them in hand as we're talking today. And as soon as you do that, come on back and we'll get started. All right, so I hope you took the test and you've got your results. The first question I want to ask you is, were you surprised by what you found? Now, the test that we're talking about is called a DISC test, the DISC examination, and it stands for Director or Dominant. The is the D. The I is Inspiring. The S is Supportive, and the C is either Conscientious or Compassionate. Now, there are going to be different labels for the DISC that you'll find depending on where you search, but those are basically what it means. Those are what scientists have called the 4 personality traits. And again, they're more behavior than personality, because if you took the DISC assessment and you see on your reports, it's going to give you your DISC assessment, meaning how high you are on the D scale, the I, the S, and the C, for internally as well as externally for your behavior. And so what we're going to do is we're going to look at each one of those traits in this video. We're going to talk about which traits you are. Chances are you're a combination of a couple, and how you use that knowledge in your real estate business. All right, knowing what your personality is, and you probably already have a good idea about that, but you've probably never been labeled. So knowing what your personality is will help you determine your behavior around others who may be the same or different. That's the point of this exercise, is not only understanding yourself, but understanding those you come in contact with on a daily basis. It may be your broker, it may be other real estate agents, it's probably going to be clients, maybe inspectors, appraisals, anyone that you come in contact with, business related and quite often personal. You are going to develop those relationships based on your personality, their personality, and how you behave to one another. So knowing this gives you the knowledge you need to really go into any situation and talk to anyone and have a winning conversation based on your adjusted behavior and their personality. All right, so I want to look at the DISC assessment and just go through it one at a time, and let's talk about where you fell on the scale and what those scales mean. Okay, I'm going to go to my computer now and I'm going to pull this up. And just a few points to cover here. Personality and behavior are both key to your success. You know, of course, your personality determines how you're wired. And we talked a lot about this in the first video, why did you go into real estate? What surprises did you find? What adjustments did you have to make? Did you go into real estate without doing your homework? Or did you have unrealistic expectations? Knowing all of those things determines how your personality, you take those things in and you push them out behaviorally. So understand the difference between personality and behavior, and you are going to use both of those in your business. And again, personality is internal. It's those personality traits that you are most likely born with. Behavior is external. It is how you behave. And sometimes, and you're going to find this, our personality traits, for example, like me, I am what's called a high D. I'm a dominant, directive personality. I'm a straight to the point guy. But if I'm dealing with someone who is not on the dominant scale, well, I might actually scare those folks. I might come across as too aggressive. I might be becoming too direct. I might overwhelm them. And if I do so, I may not make that connection to build the relationship that I need to do business with them. So again, knowing your own wiring, your personality is going to help you adjust your behavior in the outside world. So we're going to review the DISC assessment. We're going to talk about why it's important that you know your type, and being able to read others is very important to succeeding. We're going to talk about how you can make adjustments to work well with others, and how you should listen more than you talk. And then we're going to talk a little bit about the body language and how to read that. All of these things do come into play when you are out there building those relationships to build your real estate business. So first of all, let's look at the 4 assessment behavior types. There is the dominant behavior. This is the D. There is inspiring. That is the I. Supportive is the S. And then there is cautious. And you'll see around the circle there at the top, you'll also see outgoing. The dominant personality is typically very outgoing and can be inspiring of others. If you go around it, you're going to see that the ones that are the high I or S, they're more people oriented. They're people. And they are inspiring. These are some of the great leaders or group leaders or team leaders. They inspire people. They care. They are very supportive. And then you see, as you go on around the bottom there, you get toward the cautious side. They're more reserved. They're not outgoing. They're somewhat introverted. A lot of engineers are cautious. These are analytical people who have to ask a lot of questions and know everything before making a decision. And they're more task-oriented. They are great at taking tasks, picking them apart, creating a plan, and getting them done. And then we come right back into the dominant personality. And again, dominant people, like myself, we are not ones that will sit there and create a 6-month plan. We just want to know the shortest route from here to there and how we get there. So those are the 4 behavior types. And let's look at each one of them. The dominant behavior. People who have both outgoing and task-oriented traits often exhibit dominant and direct behaviors. They usually focus on results, problem solving, and the bottom line. This dominant type is known as the high D. Now, my agents here will tell you one thing that I'm always doing is, look, when they're trying to talk to me, I'll say, look, cut to the chase. Give me the bottom line. Just tell me where we're going. I'm not one that is going to be geared to listen to long, drawn-out stories. I'm not going to be one who is going to, again, create a long-term step-by-step plan. I am more concerned with what are the results that we need to achieve, what is the most direct way to get there. I'm also very direct in my personality. And again, those who know me will tell you that I'm very direct when I talk to people. I try not to be rude, but I do like to cut to the chase. If I say, you're talking too much, give me the bottom line, that's my personality. And again, sometimes I have to adjust my own behavior because high D people like me, we can really come across, not necessarily aggressively, but we can be very strong personalities. And we have to be aware of that, and I am. And I'm very good at adjusting my personality based on the behavior type person that I'm talking to. For example, if I have a client who is more of a C, the cautious type, the analytical engineer, I know that I'm going to tone down my dominant personality and get more on their level, because my job really is not to force my personality on them. It is to know what their personality is and work with them in concert to get the result that we need. All right, so that is the high D. The D style prioritizes being direct. I'm decisive. I make quick decisions. By the grace of God and good luck, they're usually the right ones. But yeah, it's not one of those personality types that is going to take a long time to make up their mind. My wife will tell you, I don't shop. I will walk into a store, I'll find what I want, I will buy it, and I will leave. And that really is the high D personality. The dominant style score represents the degree of focus a person puts on problems and challenges. And again, I am a very direct problem solver. So let's look at the I. I is for inspiring behavior. People who have both outgoing and people-oriented traits often exhibit inspiring and interactive behaviors. They usually focus on interacting with people, having fun, creating excitement. They are known as the high I. So if you scored high on the I scale, you're going to be that fun-loving person. You're going to be the one that everybody loves. They want to be around you. You create excitement. You know, you're not a leader per se. You're not direct and dominant, but you are one that influences the group. And they look to you because they like you, and they will follow you because they like you. The I style also prioritizes being direct, but in their case, it's directness with people rather than tasks, okay? The dominant personality, we focus more on getting it done. The I personality focuses more on the people who are going to work to get it done. The I style provides the energy and fun on the team. We all know who those folks are on our teams. And in order to do this, they have a more open approach with people. For example, my wife, Melissa, has a very inspiring, she's off the charts I, because she never meets a stranger. She can go, when we go grocery shopping, we will be at checkout for 30 minutes while she asks about their kids and stuff. So, and of course, me being a high D, that can get on my nerves. But the I folks are the ones that just about everybody likes. They are very open with people. People like them. They're inspiring. The S behavior, supportive behavior, people who have both reserved and people-oriented traits often exhibit supportive and steady behaviors. They usually focus on preserving relationships and on creating or maintaining peace or harmony. The supportive type is known as the high S. They have a direct, an indirect approach rather to people and situations. They weigh options before taking any quick actions. Now, I want you to think about the folks in your life. You know some supportive people. I'm sure you do. You may be a high S yourself. Nurses, teachers tend to be supportive because they are more concerned with the feelings of others typically than they are of themselves. So if I am a high D, if I'm a dominant personality and I know that I'm talking to someone who is an S, a supportive person, again, I'm going to temper my personality and my behavior so I can better communicate with someone who is an S. Does that make sense? Finally, let's look at the C. This is the cautious person, the cautious behavior. People who have both reserved and task-oriented traits often exhibit cautious or careful behaviors. They usually focus on facts, rules, and correctness. They are known as the high Cs. Now, as I mentioned a few minutes ago, most of your engineers, your PhDs, your analytical folks are going to be of the cautious variety. They want to know all of the facts and figures. They want to look at it from all the angles. They want to beat it to death, is what I'll say as a dominant, before making a decision. So keep that in mind. As a high D, if I'm dealing with a client who is a C, as an engineer, someone like that, I know that they're going to be focused more on the analytical. They're going to be focused more on the numbers. They're going to want to ask a lot of questions, and they're going to expect a lot of answers. So again, I will adjust my behavior to address their needs. And see, that's the point. When you know the needs of the various types of personalities, then you can make those adjustments as an agent to deliver the results they need. Okay. So I'm going to share my results with you. And as I mentioned, I am a high D. These are the charts from my test. Now you'll see here on the left is my natural internal style. This represents my personality. And you can see I am an off the chart almost very high D followed by an S. I'm a dominant, inspiring, meaning I have a very strong personality, but I also have the ability to lead and inspire people, which is very helpful in what I do. I am supportive and I can be cautious, but not to the degree that I am dominant. It says here your natural or internal style represents the internal motivations that drive you most. This is the part of you that is likely to represent how you think or feel about situations more than it represents how you act. Okay, did you catch that? This is how I feel internally, but not necessarily my behavior. So if you look at my behavior, let's call it our adaptive or external style, represents the way that you tend to act or behave. Even though I'm a high D, I still act like a high D, all right? But my inspiration and my supportive is often low, but my analytical mind, my cautious mind is often at play. And that's not to say that I'm not inspiring and I'm not supportive. It's just that my dominant traits and my behavior are going to be as a high D, and that serves me very well in what I do. Look a little further at my results. It says I have a blend of both dominant and inspiring traits. My dominant traits are probably a little stronger, or in my case, they're a lot stronger. I am task-oriented and I get a great deal done. That's me in a nutshell. I like problem solving. I like getting results. I am comfortable interacting with others to make things happen. So you can see there my strongest styles. D is a directive, decisive, driven, and interactive. So I want you to take a minute and look at your results. Where did you come out on the scale? Are you dominant, inspiring, supportive, cautious? How are you internally and how are you externally? We had one agent in the class that I thought was very interesting, that she had a very dominant internal. Her personality was very dominant, and I was a little surprised by that because her behavior was not. I mean, she was very nice, but she would listen, she would sit back, she wouldn't try to take control. I would have nailed her more as an S, a supportive, or even a cautious. But turns out that internally, she was a very high D. She had a very dominant personality, but her behavior did not come across that way. And what she did was, rather than exhibiting her dominance, she would sit back, listen, and just use those behaviors. So I think it would be very interesting for you to take just a little bit and look at your results and how you came out on the scale. Now, this was only just a segment of the entire DISC assessment. This was the free assessment. There was 12 questions. There is a paid assessment that has, I think, 100 and some odd questions, and I think it's about $30. You can find it on the site if you really want to do it. It goes in really, really deep into your personality and your behaviors, and it goes into things like which behavior types you get along best with, and how you can alter your behavior to serve yourself and others better. So you can go take a look at that if you like. So I want to share one other thing with you. This was brought to me by one of our agents, and this is the same kind of thing, the behavior personality assessment, but it uses automobiles because people can often relate more to automobiles than they can to some bar charts. So I just want to run through these really quickly. They're in the download. You can download them and take it and read it and let me know what you think. So let's look at personalities if they were automobiles. So let's start with the minivan. The minivan is submissive. This is the S, but it's also stable, supportive, shy, status quo, a specialist, consistent, likes stability, accommodating, peace-seeking, likes helping others. If you scored an S on the DISC assessment, congratulations, you are a minivan. Let's look at the next one. The sports car. Now, if you scored as an I, you are inspiring, impressive, interacting, interesting, social, persuasive, friendly, energetic, busy, optimistic, distractible, imaginative, focuses on the new and future. You're poor time managers mainly because you get caught up talking to people or supporting others. So if you got an I, if you are a high I, congratulations, you are a sports car. Let's look at what's next. All right, the Volvo. If you are a C, and it's really funny because I know a lot of engineers who drive Volvos, but if you are a C, you're cautious, compliant, calculating, concerned. You're a slow and critical thinker, logic-based, fact-based, organized. You don't show feelings too much. You're private. It's one of the funny things. You'll hear people say engineers have no personalities because they don't show them that much. So if you are a C, you are a Volvo. Is this helping you relate more, relating it to cars? All right, so let's talk about being a D, a dominant. Now, I've got a picture of a Jeep here, but really it's the four-wheel drive aspect that drives the dominant personality, that feeling that you can just stick it into four-wheel drive and go over anything. We are direct, demanding, driven, determined. We are very decisive, independent, persistent, direct, energetic, busy, and fearless. All of those things, I think, pretty much hit that nail right on the head. So if you're an I, congratulations, you are your favorite four-wheel. Now this is one that wasn't on the DISC assessment, but I found this interesting. This is the badass truck. If you are the badass truck, you are that narcissist. You are kind of off the DISC scale a little bit. You're narcissistic, you're self-absorbed, you feel superior. You might run across this with folks who are very wealthy or who have accomplished a lot and are very proud of those accomplishments. They are, I don't want to say they think they're better than everyone, but they certainly think they've accomplished more and they're very proud of those accomplishments. So if you have to deal with a badass truck, you're going to know how now because you know what kind of vehicle they are. And we're going to talk about how you would drive this vehicle in just a minute. So let's talk about how you work with minivans. If you are a D like I am, and I'm going to work with someone who is a supportive character, is a minivan, I'm going to be genuinely interested in them as a person because they're going to be interested in me. I want to create they call it a human working environment, really just a rapport back and forth with them on a familiar basis. The folks who were minivans are the ones that are the easiest to make friends with. They are the ones that are just out there looking to please, and that's the way they want to be treated. There's a lot to the old saw, treat people like you want to be treated. You need to treat people like their behavior or their personality says they like to be treated. So you want to clearly define goals for them, provide ongoing support. You know, when you are working with someone like this as a client, you know, they're going to be asking you a lot of questions. You may have to really be supportive with them. You may have to give them a little extra hand-holding, a little extra hugs now and then, because that's what they need. You know, they don't like pressure. They don't like to hurry. They're very easygoing, and knowing that will help you work better with them. Let's talk about working with the sports car, with the top down. These are the folks that are friendly. You're going to be social and friendly with them. You're going to build the relationship. These are the folks that can be your long-term clients, your referral clients, if you can build the relationship with them. All right? So, you know, they don't spend too much time on details. You want to motivate them through getting things done. These are the folks that you want to sit down with and go, okay, here's what happens next, and then we're going to do this, and then we're going to do this, and I'm going to update you every step of the way, and I'm going to keep you informed, and I'm going to take care of you, and we're all going to have a great transaction. So knowing how that personality works, again, is going to help you serve them better. Let's talk about working with the Volvo, working with the analyticals, the cautious. You need to warn them in time. They do not like surprises. Okay, again, you're going to outline everything for them, but if something starts to go south, you're going to let them know as quickly as possible, and you are going to offer ways to solve the issues for them. Be prepared. Don't ad-lib with them if you can. These are not folks that you can tell jokes to and make a laugh or make them laugh quickly. They're just not geared that way. And David Barnett, one of our great agents here, made a point the other day that when he meets someone new, he'll try to make them laugh. He'll tell a joke because their response to that joke will let him know what kind of personality he's dealing with. If they laugh, well, they're probably a dominant or an inspiring person. If they give him kind of a scolding look, they might be supportive. If they do not respond at all, that is a cautious. That's an engineer, and he knows how to adjust his behavior to work with each one of those. All right? So just keep in mind what each one of these personality types are. If you're working with someone who's a D, a high D like me, build respect to avoid conflict. That's one of the big things, and really with me and any D is I will respect you if you respect me. I will treat you how you treat me. I'm not someone that you're going to run over and that you're going to boss around, that you're going to give a load of BS to, but I will respect you as long as you respect me, and I will go out of my way to serve you. So when I'm talking to a D, that's my easiest connection because that's what I am. All right, so keep that in mind if you are working with a high D person, a very high energy, direct person. Always have evidence to support your arguments. Be quick, focused, and to the point. They don't want to hear long, drawn-out stories. They don't want to hear you ramble. Don't talk so much. Get to the point with a D, and you will be fine. All right, let's talk about the badass truck. How do you deal with folks like this? Well, the easiest way to get on their good side is to tell them how great they are. Build respect to avoid conflict. I am very impressed by the fact, Mr. Smith, that you have built up this business and that you employ so many people. It's just amazing. Kudos to you. You're a great entrepreneur, and I'm really happy to be working with you because I think I might learn from you. Blow that smoke up that skirt, as we say. But that is really how you get on their good side. And once you do get on their good side, once they like you and you prove that they can depend on you, you will become their guy or their gal. And you will do an awful lot of business based on that relationship, all right? So just keep that in mind when you're working with the badass truck. So hopefully that was helpful to you. Remember, the whole point of the DISC assessment is not only knowing how you are wired and how you behave, but how to recognize those dominant, inspiring, supportive, cautious traits in others. Because again, knowing how someone thinks, how someone behaves, it's going to help you adjust your personality. And I'm not saying be something that you're not or be someone that you're not. I am simply saying adjust your inner personality to your outer behavior so that you can build those relationships. And again, remember, the more relationships you have, the more business you are going to do when it comes to real estate. Another thing I want to talk about quickly is learning how to read body language. Body language, if you've never done reading on body language, you should go get a good book on how to read body language, because reading someone's body language will help you, again, build that relationship and converse with them. And one of the best things you can do to get to know someone while you are learning their DISC or where they fall on the scale is simply by talking to them. When I meet a new client, I will sit down with them for 15, 20, 30 minutes, which can be really painful for a high D, but I will go through the client questionnaire that we provide. I'm talking to them for a couple of reasons. Number one, I want to find out, what's their budget, what they're looking for, what can I do for them, but I'm also getting a read on their personality. And after a few minutes, very quickly, I can tell you just from a little bit of conversation whether this person is a D, an I, a S, a C, all right? And by knowing their personality traits, then I am able to shift my behavior to more relate on their level. And that's how you build that relationship, okay? So you start doing that. And as you're doing that, this is where body language comes in. Learn to read body language. If someone is leaning in and looking you in the eye while you're talking to them, that means they're very interested in what you're saying. If they're smiling, if their eyebrows go up, it means they're very impressed. They're very happy to be talking to you. Now, if you're talking and they're sitting back with their arms folded away from you, maybe giving you a frown or giving you a harsh look, that person is having a hard time believing what you say. All right, typically they are a C. They're very cautious. You have not won them over yet. They are simply saying, I need a lot more information before I am going to be doing this, all right? So learn to read body language. I encourage you to pick up a book on reading body language. I think you'll find it to be a very helpful tool in your ability to build those relationships. So, all right, so there you go. I, again, encourage you, if you did not, get over there, do the free DISC assessment. I encourage you to do the full assessment because it doesn't cost very much and it can tell you so much about yourself and how you should handle things in the real world. I think you'll be very impressed. The highest achievers that I know, including myself, have gone through the full DISC assessment, and we've taken what we've learned and we've put it into practice. All right? So I encourage you to do that. I want you to start just in your daily life. When you're talking to people, I want you to start making an assessment as to whether what they are. Are they a D, an I, an S, or a C? Are they a Volvo? Are they a minivan? Are they a sports car? Are they a four-wheel drive? Are they a badass truck? What are they? I want you to practice that. Because trust me, folks, as much as knowing how to sell is going to help you build your real estate career, knowing how to read people, knowing how to adjust your behavior to people is going to even let you go even further in your career. So, all right, so that's it for this module of Fast Track. If you've got any questions or comments, drop them in the space below and we will address them with the group. If not, I will see you on the next module. Have a great day. Bye.